Hello everyone, good afternoon. Today let's begin with our session of the webinar, that is trade in USD INR. Along with that, I'll be sharing the market views, what actually the markets today says. So let's begin with our webinar. So beginning with the webinar, let's understand with it how you can, a newbie or an investor can trade in USD INR. So let's begin with it. So what actually the USD INR and other things is, I'll be just showing you in a second. Okay. So that's the USD INR. As you know that in India we can trade in several options. So just like in equities, index and commodities, we can also trade in currencies as well. So I'll be just beginning with the basics part of the USD INR and how does it calculate and how you can trade actually in USD INR and in other currency pairs as well. So right now the currency pairs which are available in India are USD INR, JPY INR, GBP INR and Euro INR. These are the four pairs which we can trade in USD. Along with that, there are cross pairs as well, which most of us can use. That is GBP USD, Euro USD, and JPY USD. These all are the seven pairs which an investor or Indian citizen or any player can trade in Indian markets in a legal matter. So these are the seven pairs of the Indian currencies, and the important thing in USD INR, just like in equities we trade equities futures and options. Similarly, we can also trade in currencies futures and options as well. So their lot size, as per the lot size are concerned, so their lot size are still that 1,000 per dollar per USD. So if you are buying a 1 USD INR in future, it means that you are buying a 1 US $1,000 futures contract. So futures contract. So these are the major thing about the USD INR, the currency, before we'll move at how you can trade and how the most beneficial strategies in the part comes out. So that's what the pairs it comes around when it comes to the USD INR futures contracts. Similarly, in Euro INR, you'll be getting a Euro 1,000 euros, and in JPY, that's Japanese yen, again you will getting 1,000 euros. So the major size is 1,000. That is a constant thing in the currencies. Even in GBP as well, there are 1,000. So for every lot, also when you are buying it, one of the most important thing in any currency pairs, that is the margin. So currently the margin that is payable in currencies futures contract for carrying any future contracts for the next day or 2 3 days, there is a margin that is levied, and that margin comes from the total cost, that is the total cost of carrying any future contract, carrying any derivatives contract. It can be in a, even if you're shorting any option as well. So these are the margin that is being using. So suppose if the USD INR currently trading at 74.77, so for 1,000 lot, so for one lot you will have to pay into one lot. So that's the amount, and for that we'll be paying around somewhere about 0.025%. So these are the costs for carrying a single lot of USD INR, which is much more cheaper and much more beneficial than any stock or an index option. If you are carrying any index as well, for that index, suppose that today the Nifty is 11,200. So let's just calculate in the figure wise for 11,200, and there's a lot size, and if you're carrying a one lot of Nifty today, so for that you will paying a margin around this, around 0.8% margin or even more than that. So these are the margin which generally we are being paying around today, that this time the margin is somewhere around 10%, that is 85,000, or somewhere between 10 to 15% of the margin, which is actually a most costly affair and the risky as well. For every one per trade you have to maintain the MTM also. So for carrying an USD INR contract, even a GBP INR or JPY or Euro INR, for all these contracts we have to pay a somewhere of a margin cost of 2 to 3% total cost of carrying any that is 2 to 3% of it. So how does the USD INR can be tradable and what things are beneficial in it? I'll be sharing more about it in just a minute. Okay, so these are the major things of USD INR as things are concerned with this. The most important thing in USD INR as compared to an exchange as well. So let's comparing. I'm just showing you how the comparison works out when you be comparing about an stock index with a USD INR and how beneficial if you are being a beginner trader and how it can be a making you help you out with more making money or how it can help you out in understanding how these things can actually help you out in making a better trader as well. So for USD INR, I'm just comparing it out and the stock or index features, index options FNO. So the thing is in USD INR, the most important thing of the market is the data. So for USD INR, the data is being on the country-wise matter. For stock and index, it will be a specific and the country-wise. So that is one of the most important thing that affects the decision-making power as well. If someone is also going to investing it part, so they'll be getting a lot of news about the stocks and index. But when it comes to the currency part, so their information is about the currency and national level basis. So anything happens on a national on a country-wise level, then was the currency affected. So that is one of the best way of trading in a currency as well. As far as the margin is concerned, here in the currencies derivatives, that is, I'll just write the currency derivatives to make it more viable and understanding to you all. So let's just bold it so that you guys can see what's the major part of the difference is. Okay, so that's the thing. So that's a margin that you have to pay for carrying any future contract in currency derivative, that is 2 to 3%, which is much more cheaper and the lesser than the stock or the index margin. As far as the volatility is concerned, so both there is a less volatility, there's a more volatility in the currency part, which is a good one thing. But the liquidity is concerned, as far as the liquidity is concerned in currency, there is a very high liquidity. Here is stocks. You find some stocks have a low liquidity even on the future contract or on some contracts as well, or in the options also. In index also somewhere in the far or OTM money options you'll be getting a lot less liquidity. But in currencies, so there the liquidity is more. Liquidity is also high, but yes, there are some instruments or the strike contracts which liquidity also less. So that's the most important thing that impacts the decision making power also. If you are going to buy any stock options also, the far the money or out of the money option, then you might have to face the spread issues somewhere around the pricing issues as well. So that thing comes around in the liquidities as well. So that's what the major thing of the currency pairs where the instrument is concerned. Though the instrument is less, which means in currency you can only trade in 7 instruments, but in stocks you can trade in somewhere around like 200, including stocks and index also. So for 200, there are lots of data, lots of confusion comes on. Every day you have to scan it. Every day you have to fix on this thing. Lots of calculations involved. When there are a lot of data, it leads to lots of calculation analysis. And when we have the limited instruments to watch out for to analyze these things, our decision making is also be a good one. So that's how the instrument is less, which is one of the good thing in currency because you have to only follow the USDINR, JPYNR, GBPINR, and the cross pairs as well. So if you are just following only three things, you automatically getting other four things as well. But in stocks, if you're following a five stocks, you also have to look at the index movement also. You have to also look at the foreign markets movements as well. But in currency, you have to look at the country wise and on the national level wise and the worldwide issues. That is one of the most important thing for a beginner trader is to get the limited sources of information and to analyze the market on the basis of the whole basis rather than going on the niche basis. It will help them in analyzing the market as a whole, which is one of the very good way. As far as the correlations is concerned, it is one of the best way to analyzing the market. Wherever the currency is falling, the native local currency is falling. It gives the signal that the people are selling the rupee or buying for investing in foreign currencies. But here it means the amount is going outside the market, which is a very bad sign. But if which is a bad sign, which shows that the market is falling, that the money is going out from the market. That is the sign of the correlation being an invert related. So whenever the market is rising, we might be seeing that the Indian currency is also falling. So these are some basic things about the currency part. Let's move at how you can trade it, how a people can trade it, and how the things works out. I'll be just sharing it more about the options and the currencies both works out it. But as I said, the currency is more reasonable and gives you the more benefit as compared to index options as well in terms of money earning. If you are a trader, if you are a new investor also, the cost for investing or a capital required, just a minimum capital also, you can start as minimum as 1,000 rupees as well. Yes, as rupees as minimum 1,000 as well. Here, the minimum capital for futures as well, you need to at least invest like 10 to like for nifty options also you can invest, you need to invest somewhere around like 500, somewhere around like 3,000, a very good option in the money options talking about I am. So for like you have to invest like in the money options you have to invest somewhere around like 5,000 or the time value of thing is concerned. So that's the thing comes around 5,000. So minimum capital that is required here is like more than like 1 lakh capital before you will entering into the option part of the index and stocks thing. But when it comes to the currency, you can start with as low as like from 1,000 rupees to 5,000 rupees. So that's what the main thing about the currency part. So I'll show you something more about it, how it's been interrelated to each other. So that's the currency thing. As you can see today, the currency is falling and the Indian market is being rising of very much speed at a pace speed as you can see here. See from the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, the currency is falling and from the last 5 days, the Indian market is on the rising trend. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2, 5. So these are the things which tells you about the market as well. Whether the market is going to the upside, whether it's going to the downside, it's being an inverse relationship telling you about it, whether the market will go up, going down, or what's the trend is in the market. Even though if you're, as you can see, there's another chart which is open automatically, that is a GBP INR. I'll be coming it more about how these currency pairs works out and how it is more beneficial when it comes to trading in this market, and which instrument is more liquid when you trading in the currency as well. So these are the currency charts as well as these are all similar to this, but one of the most important thing let me tell you about the currency thing is currency things actually works on the technical part. So if you are being good at technical, if you are understanding these things, so if you are analyzing the technical things in currency, then it will be easy for you to make money from the currency market as you can see. It will clearly showing a signal that is consolidating. So if you are trading in options as well, there is a lots of opportunity in writing those options, and even if you are buying those options, you know which options to buy, which monthly options to buy as well. One more thing with options that comes out as an index, there is a weekly expiry. In index, there is an expiry also, right? Similarly, on currency also there is a weekly expiry, weekly and monthly expiry of the contract. That is another amazing thing of the currencies market as well. Here also you will get the weekly and monthly, but only weekly only in index and monthly in both index and stocks. So as you can see in currency, you get the option of weekly. So with the weekly options, you'll be having a most opportunity of taking the market benefit of writing as well. So if you are being a trader comes wants to try how the options writing works out, that's one of the best way to learn other stuff. So that's what the basic thing about the currency. I'll be teaching more about the currencies in one of our program sessions. Also, you can join it and learn it. So let's come towards the part how you can use this option chain. So as you can see, that's a weekly option chain. As you can see, that's a USDINR option chain that is the 24th of July. And you can see the prices. It's being on a PASA basis. So if there is a really a single movement. One more thing that a movement is concerned, index price movements are concerned. So here the currency movements, price movements concerned from 0.0 to 5. In index it's 0.05. So how these things works out, I'll just brief you out. So that's an option contract. Let me just say if you are buying a 74.75 put option, that's a put option and that's a call chain. So if you are buying a put option of 74.75, so that's suppose I need to buy a put option of 74.12.50. So for that, how much amount I need to pay for? So it's very simple and one easy. I'm just showing a real example of it. Okay. So I need to buy, suppose I need to buy around like 10 to 20 lots. I'll think suppose I need to buy 10 lots. So how much amount do you have to pay? That's the amount for buying a 10 lots. Just 1250 rupees. Now, if suppose the movements come in this option chain, and I think this point 12 paisa, this 12 paisa turn out to be the price of this 1250 turns into 1850 or somewhere around like 2500, which is like somewhere around like 5 to 6 paisa movement, which is sufficient in the currency as well. Right now 75, which will be easy for a pattern. So that 1250 is turning into 2500, which is a huge profit. And it should be analyzing these things. It's just being like 100% profit, you can see. So that's a double of it with just the movements in the currency. If you look at how did I come to 10 to paisa movement? There's a very important thing in currency which I haven't tell you till yet. The price movements. What are movements? So in currency, there's a movements. Every day there are some movements around 70 to 80 paisa. On an average, you can say 70 to 80 paisa. So you can see I'm just calculated a 12 paisa movement. And this 12 paisa movement, you are getting a 100. So you can even imagine like 70 paisa to 80 paisa movements in just a single day can make you a lot of more money when it comes to trading market. Whereas an index, the price movements, you can see there is no like somewhere around like 5 to 10% movement. That is a maximum. Otherwise, it goes to the upper circuit and it will reach the market wide position limits. So that's the price to movement of price currency. But here the price movement somewhere around like 70 to 80 paisa, which is like 1 or 2%. On that 1 or 2% movement in the currency can even brings you lots of money over it. So that's what the basic parts of the currency is. Well. Okay, I'll just back to this part. Okay, I just forget it. I think that's sufficient for it. Okay, so as I said, is a thing that 1270.50 we can see it's already being raised up. So you have already made around like 100 to 200 rupees just over it. So that's how the currency works out. So that's what the major things of the currency chain. You can trade in the cross pair as well. You can trade in everything. So for trading in these things, you first of all you need to open a broking account. If you have a broker account, I'm just using a discount broker and so you can also trade in that. It's just not issues over it. So if you're trading with a broker, any you have to activate your segment called currency derivative segment. Once you activated that segment, okay, let me just scroll out that strategy part and just show. So okay, so that's a currency part, and let's make some charts. As you can see here, for adding a currency, if you're using the upstock user or any user, you have to enter a USDINR. Once you enter your USDINR, you can see there's an important thing in currency. You will get the 12 months future contracts to trade up. So if I need to buy July month, or even if I need to buy the December month contract as well, I can buy. So I can buy this contract as well. Okay, I'll just show it. I think I did. Okay, that one I did in a watch list. Let me just change it to the watch list, and this one would works out. Okay, so that's our USD INR. And if I need to add this one, you can see the volume as well. As things the volume are concerned, most people generally say there is a very less volume in the currency part. You can see the order book. There are enough buyers. You are buying like $50,000. You are buying a $1 lakh. These are the future and volatility things are concerned. It's very high. The charts is on a minute chart. The prices change as a very limited buys when it comes to trading. As you can see, the spreads as well. That's a December contract as well. If I look at the index contract, you will getting a lot lesser volume as compared to this one. Nifty futures. You can see if I look at there is a September and December is not there. So that's how the futures thing are concerned. Even in the options part also there is a 3 months option in currencies as well. So if you're trading in currencies, you have to let's like even on the GBP INR thing like that. If you want to trade like in your bank Nifty you are being traded, so GBP INR is again one of the best way to trade. GBP INR is you can call it another name of bank Nifty with a huge volatility and huge making. It generally make a movement of somewhere around 1 rupee also in a day. As you can see here, a 60 paisa movement to 18 paisa, that is around like 60 paisa movement just before the market opens. You can see the volatility in volume things and all. And that's a 1 minute chart as well. If you go for a daily wise as well in an hourly chart as well, you will get to see the currency movements as well. You can see how that currency works out. So from 94 to 95, it's just like in a day it has moved out. So that's how the GBP INR works. It gives you the huge best opportunities most of the time. In terms of volatility, if you love the volatility, then GBP INR is the best way. If you want to make a stable income, then the currency is one of the best way to trade on. So both the cost is, as I said, depends on a 2 to 3% of the margin. So you just be spending around like 3 to 4 thousand rupees maximum for carrying any future contract. When it comes to an option chain as well, it will cost you a less than you have thought. So USD INR, if I'm writing now, you can see there is options as well as an option chain. So if the currency right now it's 74.83, you can see now. So you can see the options as well, which is one of the best thing I can suggest you if you're being a new trader or wants to learn more about the market, you can join the classes and learn more about it. But as far as the thing is concerned, if you're being learned or want to try the new segment of the market, then currency is one of the best way to learn. As you can see, the pricing movement of this thing, like 9 paisa, 20 paisa. So that 20 paisa, things actually works out in currencies as well. I hope you guys are learning very much about it, how the currency works out. So that's how the currency part thing is concerned. Okay, so that's how the currency works out, and that's how generally you can learn and trade more about the currencies when you are being a new trader who want to learn more about the currency work, or if you want to learn more about it. So let's come to the next part of our webinars today before we see more silence. And if you have any doubt with regards to currency, you can ask in between this session also. I'll be answering more about it. Okay, so that's the thing of the currency part. Any currencies you want to trade, even it's USDINR, GBP, all these currencies gives you the maximum profit chances. With that, you are being investing a less amount. So if the capital is less, wants to make thing and looking for some a good option for it, then currency is one of the best way for you to make money. So that's what the currency works out. And let's come out the market view where actually so today's market say, as I said, the market view is also the part. So that's the currency thing are concerned. Let's understand it, how technically you can understand the currency part. As I said, the daily part you can see. It's a very simple way of a trend line. We can see that the currency is falling, which means the Indian rupee is rising. The demand for Indian rupee is getting more and more. So if people are demanding, if the foreigner is demanding the Indian rupee, it means the market is on bullish side. So that's what the market says. So with the currency movement, it's being easy to understand what such as you can see that the market is crossing all the Fibonacci levels from its one level and today is moving ahead around with that level, moving for the target of 11,200 or 300 levels. That is again one of the good way of analyzing it. With currencies, along with that giving you the signal of the market edge. So market is bullish right now. It's being a very clear cut signal on the hourly chart basis. It's been making a new high and high, consolidating a bit every 5 to 10 to 20 points fall, and then reverting back to the more high. So its market is moving towards the high for the new levels of 280 and 300 level as far as the bank nifty is concerned. So market has been bullish. Nifty is one of the best thing which happens right now. It has been consolidating a bit from the long time. You can see here it's been trading in the range of 23,000 to 22,000 at somewhere around 21,000 levels, and this time it has been breached out and makes a support in the range around 21,000 levels, and then at the 22,000 level, and then moving back and trying to test the level of 23,100 yen. So that's a very good sign in the bank nifty as well, which is a good sign of showing that the bank nifty is bullish and leading to the targets of 24,033 yen. So that's one of the good thing. You can see the market is bullish right now. So that's all the thing about it. You can also learn these things without using much tools and analysis part. You can see the simple candlestick chart patterns also. We are being generally conduct those classes as well. So if you are being new and wants to learn more about it, you can join our sessions as well, which I'll be generally conducted, where I'll be teaching you more about it. If you want to learn more about it, how the things works out. So I generally take the classes as a take a core session. We also take a generally classes as well. So if you want to learn more about the currencies as well on equity or commodity, or wants to learn those strategies how to work in this market, whether it's a sideways market or whether it's a bullish market or it's a downward trend market. So you can learn all those strategies on this thing where I'll be teaching you more about it, the currencies and cross pay, which some arbitraging strategies over it, and in equities and commodities as well, like how the small investments in equities can turn you a big part, or if you are being a trader and investing lots of capital, but the risk is very issue. So I'll be also teaching you about the risk management strategies also. Those if you want to learn more about the technical thing and the equity, commodity, and how it works out, you can register in the session. I'm sharing it again, the link part to you all, so you can register it. And I hope you guys like the session, and thank you for being staying there, and I hope you guys have learned something new for today as well. So that's all from my side, guys, and happy learning and safe investing, guys. Have a good day. Goodbye.